There is something different about seeing an athlete's face on a billboard in New York. It is not just another social media post, another sponsorship graphic, or another advertisement appearing on a tennis website. New York is one of the most competitive advertising markets in the world, and with the US Open approaching, the city becomes the center of the tennis universe. That is why the reported appearance of Alex Eala in Nike's New York campaign has attracted so much attention, particularly among Filipino fans. The timing could hardly be more significant. Eala is heading into the US Open after the biggest breakthrough of her professional career, and her profile has expanded far beyond the tennis audience that first discovered her as a junior champion. Just weeks ago, she became the first player from the Philippines to win a WTA Tour singles title, defeating world number 3 Jessica Pegula in the rain-delayed Mubadala DC Open final. Welcome back to the channel. If you follow Alex Eala's rise, you already know this story is about much more than one tournament. Her results are changing how people see Filipino tennis, while her growing commercial profile is introducing her to audiences who may never have watched a WTA match before. If you want the latest news and context surrounding Eala's US Open journey, make sure you're subscribed, because the next few weeks could be enormous. The important point, though, is to separate what is confirmed from what is circulating online. The New York Billboard reports are generating excitement, but some of the larger claims being shared by fans should not automatically be treated as official Nike announcements. What is firmly established is that Nike has continued building Eala's presence around major tennis moments, including culturally themed apparel, and that her profile has risen dramatically since the start of the season. The scale of her visibility is now being watched much more closely. And there is a simple reason for that. Alex Eala is no longer entering New York as an unknown prospect hoping to make an impression. The US Open itself has identified her as one of the players to watch. The tournament's official preview highlighted her historic rise, her first WTA title, and the fact that she will compete in singles and mixed doubles while also appearing during US Open Fan Week. That is a very different position from the one she occupied at the beginning of this season. Just look at what happened in Washington. Eala entered the Mubadala DC Open ranked number 28 and reached the biggest final of her career. She defeated Zheng Qinwen, Leylah Fernandez, Alina Svitolina, and Naomi Osaka on the way to the championship match. Then came Jessica Pegula, the world number 3 and top seed. The final was interrupted by rain after Pegula won the opening set, but when the players returned, Eala completely changed the match. She won 4-6, 6-4, 6-0 and captured her first WTA Tour singles title. That victory was historic on its own. Eala became the first player from the Philippines to win a WTA Tour-level singles title. More importantly, she did it against one of the strongest players in the world, after having already beaten multiple established names during the same week. The WTA noted that she won the final 9 games of the championship match, turning a difficult situation into one of the defining victories of her young career. The ranking jump tells another part of the story. Eala arrived in Washington at a career-high number 28 and was guaranteed another rise after reaching the final. Following the title, she moved into the world's top 20. That matters commercially because sponsorship opportunities usually follow sustained competitive relevance, not just one viral moment. Eala now has something much stronger than hype. A WTA title, top 10 victories, and a place among the players attracting serious attention before a Grand Slam. And this is where Nike becomes particularly interesting. The brand has already used Eala's Filipino identity as part of her tennis story. During her Wimbledon breakthrough, her Nike presentation included details connected to the Philippines, including the sampaguita, the country's national flower. Eala has spoken about how meaningful it was to carry that symbolism onto a major tennis court. The point was not simply to put a flag on clothing. It connected an international athlete with the country and community that helped shape her. That connection has become part of Eala's identity as a professional athlete. She has never presented herself as someone who wants to separate her success from where she came from. She has talked about her family, her brother, her grandfather, and the role they played in introducing her to tennis. Her journey was not built inside one of the sport's traditional power centers. She grew up in the Philippines, developed through a family connection to the game and eventually trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain. That background is important because tennis has historically been a difficult sport for athletes from countries without deep professional infrastructure. The Philippines has enormous sporting passion, but basketball and boxing have traditionally dominated the national conversation. Volleyball has also become a major part of the country's sporting culture. Tennis has had dedicated players and fans for generations, but it has not occupied the same mainstream position. Eala's rise is challenging that hierarchy simply by giving people a reason to watch. And the response has been remarkable. The phrase Ilamania or Ilalmania has become part of the fan conversation around her rise, and Filipino supporters have followed her across tournaments in North America. That support became especially visible during her breakout runs this season. The US Open itself has now described her as one of the biggest attractions heading into this year's tournament, a reflection of how quickly her profile has grown. But the New York story matters for another reason. The US Open is not simply played inside the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. The tournament increasingly treats New York itself as part of the event. This year, the USTA has been promoting fan experiences across the 5 boroughs under the theme Celebrating Our New York Story. That means the city becomes a massive stage for tennis branding, fan engagement and athlete visibility before the first major points are even played. So if Eala's image is appearing prominently around New York as part of Nike's campaign, the symbolism is hard to miss. She is arriving in the city at exactly the moment when her sport is preparing to command global attention. For Filipino Americans, that creates another layer. New York has one of the largest Filipino communities in the United States, and seeing a Filipino athlete represented prominently during the US Open build-up can carry a significance that goes far beyond a clothing campaign. That is why images of Eala's Nike campaign can travel so quickly through Filipino communities online. A billboard is physical. It cannot be scrolled past in the same way as a post on Instagram. You encounter it while walking through the city, riding through a neighborhood or moving between events. When an athlete from a community that has historically had relatively little representation in global tennis. Marketing appears in that environment, people naturally stop and take notice. But there is an important distinction here. A billboard does not automatically prove that an athlete has become one of the biggest stars in the entire sports industry. It does not prove a specific endorsement value, a particular contract length, or some enormous financial agreement. Those claims require evidence. And that distinction matters because Eala's rise has already produced exaggerated stories online. The safest way to understand this moment is to focus on what can actually be established: her competitive breakthrough, her Nike relationship, her growing apparel presence, and her rising importance to the US Open story. That makes the real development even more interesting. Nike does not need to turn Eala into a superstar overnight. The company can build her profile gradually while her tennis results do the heavy lifting. That is a much more sustainable strategy. Every major win creates another reason to show her. Every Grand Slam appearance gives the brand another opportunity to connect her athletic performance with Filipino culture. And every new generation of fans that discovers her potentially strengthens that relationship. Eala herself has also become much more comfortable discussing the cultural side of her career. She has described representing the Philippines as something she takes seriously while also trying to keep the actual competition simple. Tennis still comes down to the same court, the same ball and the same scoring system. That mindset is important because the symbolism around her can become enormous, especially when millions of people begin attaching their own hopes and emotions to one athlete. That pressure will become particularly interesting in New York. The US Open is a different environment from a WTA 500 tournament. The crowds are larger, the media attention is heavier, and every match can become a major story. Eala will not be able to control the expectations surrounding her. What she can control is how she prepares, how she competes, and how she responds when matches become difficult. Her Washington title proved that she can handle pressure, but a Grand Slam creates a completely different test. And there is another reason this US Open feels different. Eala is not arriving simply as a singles player with a ranking to defend. The official tournament preview says she is also scheduled to play mixed doubles with Felix Auger-Aliassime and appear during Stars of the Open at Arthur Ashe Stadium during Fan Week. That means her presence in New York will extend beyond the traditional singles draw. She is becoming part of the event's broader entertainment and promotional landscape as well. That matters for Nike because brand visibility works best when the athlete is already at the center of multiple conversations. Eala can appear in match coverage, fan content, promotional material, mixed doubles, exhibitions and social media discussions. Suddenly, the sponsorship is not dependent on one result. Even if she loses a singles match earlier than expected, her broader presence can continue generating attention throughout the tournament. Of course, the biggest question remains what happens on court. Advertising can introduce an athlete to millions of people, but tennis determines whether that attention becomes a long-term sports story. Eala's Washington title gives her credibility. Her victories over established opponents give her credibility. Her junior Grand Slam history gives her a foundation. But the next stage is proving that she can repeatedly compete at this level against the best players in the world. That is the challenge every breakout athlete eventually faces. The first breakthrough creates excitement. The second stage requires consistency. Opponents study you.